Doug, but he didn't get me back, so it's us, boy. You got
It's
the
just us.
analytical point of view. I'll get the play-by-play.
Sure. There we go. Share screen. Oh, it's working. We're here. We're back. Hello.
We in it.
Wait, not sure what the teams are. So it's Latve's Ardaim Rekachu Fuz Shiskura for team Rekachu, and then we got
RAKY.
what's the other team? Feculator, Killboy, Larson, Mighty, and Mythic. On the other team. So, are you seeing it? I'll drop the skybox. You seeing the composition happening there?
Yeah, why don't we take a look at what we've actually got going on here with the team comp. So, Shizakura, like we said earlier in the other stream, he's going to be on that Margrave. Fuz is locked in the Zenobia. Ardaim on that Taito, like you said earlier.
Yep.
Leadface actually branching off to the Beckett here, not really going with his normal Bruisers or his Mozu. And then you have Rakache on Odin.
Yeah. So let's say now that he actually pulled out the Beckett, I'm not that surprised because I forgot that was in his pool, but he actually plays that. So they're up against Almighty and Uncle Sven, Mythic on HK, kind of what was expected. Feculator on Zenobia, Killboy and Charnock, and Larson the Bear on Trip actually. So very some people switching it up.
Yeah.
So I do think these compositions are fairly equal. Like they just disappeared from me, so we'll have to look at that for a little bit. But I do think these compositions have some fairly equal matchups. I think. What's the other guy? Let's call it Team Feculator because that's the only guy I remember right now. So I think they do have some advantages on the more long range type of deal because they have the Charnock and the HK against the Voden Beckett, who have slightly less consistent damage on the longer ranges.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of just like the really standard. I mean, the Zenobia isn't quite so standard, but it is a pretty standard, engage, assassin, support, 2 ranged coming out of Team RAKY here. And you've got actually something kind of weird coming out of Team Feculator. But we're going to talk about that in a minute here, as Shizakura is actually brawling up here with Mythic and the Charnock, I believe, and the HK. The HK has dropped pretty low in the back, and it looks like this is just kind of going to devolve into a poke war with both teams looking for opportunities to get that last pick. We got Charnock moving up on the high ground here. Sven tossing the flask from down below. The Margrave and the Xeno here from Team RAKY are hiding around that wall, making sure they don't take too much damage for the engage. Rakache taking a lot of damage here. The Meteor coming in. The Trip is going to be going for a little bit of damage on the creature. I'm not so sure about that. And the engage coming in from the Margrave. Trip still has health, but gets absolutely imploded immediately as soon as she jumps on that Voden. But they're all still sitting pretty low here. I'm gonna have to wonder if Team Feculator is gonna have the pushing power to really go in here now that they've lost their only melee. They've really only got Zenobia and Sven here. They're really just relying on the range to be able to keep the poke up, but they've left the Margrave to heal up, and he's gonna be able to go in and push them off. Meanwhile, you've got someone going over at C. I would assume that's the Trip from Team Feculator. He's gonna start to backcap that, but you've got Margrave and Sven going over there to take care of it. And now we've got a little bit of a break in the action, or Margrave and Taito rather. That first fight was pretty interesting actually. We kind of got to see what I was about to talk about rather, with the enemy team comp here, with the Team Feculator team comp. Kind of just being an odd 2 support, 1 assassin. They don't really have much way to go in. They're looking for the range to be able to poke people down while they sustain and just kind of debuff the enemy team here.
But yeah, so eventually Team RAKY actually got the D-Orb and got the power lead and managed to stave off Feculator's team just long enough to pick up that Orban piece and get themselves the push. But yeah, it's just that it kind of devolved into a weird poking war, and then eventually Trip getting called off while going in, trying to go for that pick off on Voden, and we'll see how they approach the wound now. They seem to be all going through middle here.
Voden's going to be right on top of the wound here, taking a little bit of damage early on. He pops the clone to get out. Shizakura with a big ground and pound right on top of the wound. Zenobia is sitting on that rock there, and it looks like the Range are going to be able to finish it off pretty easily, but will they be able to get out? Looks like the Beckett is up at D. She's still backing up. She's looking to just sustain. Meanwhile, they pick off the trip here in the middle on the retreat, dropping the other two to half. And this is just going to continue to be a brawl, but I don't think it's going to end up going the way of Team Feculator if they end up staying here, because you've got Margrave and Taito rotating in with full health, even though the Range are looking a little bit low here.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw that Team Feculator actually lost one person on the retreat of the wound, which normally you don't really see, because going for a wound is a really risky business, and you often see people getting picked off after going for the retreat, because that's when you're the most vulnerable. So getting a kill in return is really good for Team Rakachu here.
Definitely have to agree, and we're gonna see Team Rakachu throwing up that C Cerberus right now, just that tier 1. He's all alone over here, and we see on the mini-map that there is a little bit of fighting going on around D point, just Team Rakachu defending the entrance there. It doesn't look like they're really getting in much trouble, but it looks like the rotate is actually going to come in from Team Feculator here. They've got 4 people pushing onto the C point, and they're just looking to burn the creature right now. They've got the Trip looking for the Voden, but they're going to have to back off. So the counter rotation happens here from Team Rakachu, but they're not really able to catch anyone on the retreat. Really clean in and out, even though they weren't able to get too much damage down. They keep themselves safe, keep the power pretty stable. Team Rakachu isn't really in a different power bracket here. They've just got 10 extra power, which means that this might actually just come down to a tie if they're not able to get anything else. Even though looks like Larson got caught out there.
And now they are in a different bracket.
Quickly. And now they're in a very different bracket here, 80 to 60, but Team Rakachu looks like, nope, they're not going to want to continue this fight, even though Rakachu does kind of miss that focus there. Yeah, they are going to continue the fight, even though they're 20 power up. They see the advantage and they go for it. And now, Taito not really being able to finish off that low kill there, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, we see now both teams having the upgraded C, but the fight's still going on it.
Yeah, it's still just a brawl here as the ground and pound comes in and just kind of helps to take out the Zenobia, or the big damage comes in, even though the ground and pound was trying to save it. And they are going to be able to get that orb for the final bit of power for the push, even though they have quite a few people here just on the verge of death.
Yeah, absolutely crazy fight. Keeping initiating on under the enemy forward points. So we do see with this wound approach, 2 people going through the left side while the rest of the team is moving through D. Now kind of converging on the middle area, going through the tunnels, kind of trying to spread out and make this wound attempt as clean as possible. And it looks really good. They're picking off Zenobia just before the wound, getting some of that extra time, dealing a lot of damage to the wound, and eventually taking it down fairly cleanly. Now to see if they can get out with some Voden super jumping. Looks like Voden is going to go down, though not yet. Is very low and almost out of stam. I think.
Yeah, it looks like Voden is going to go down here, but he is going to be the... Well, yeah, not the only one. The Zenobia goes down as well, but those... Zenobia has a really tough time getting out of there in the first place. On the back of that, though, Team Feculator is going to look to push up onto this D point off the 2 death timers of Team Rakachu. Luckily for them, they've got some of their more brawly heroes up. It's not going to matter, though, as Team Feculator just goes in for those kills, leaving Margrave as the only one alive. Looks like they are going to be able to take this D point really easily for that 60 power lead.
That is quite the comfortable lead that you want your team to be in. So let's see how
they're only going to be going at first win with this. That is going to be really big to get their comeback started.
Yeah, absolutely. The Guardian's going to do so much damage to this wound. Is almost going to take it out, so they don't have to commit nearly as much to this first wound. And now Team Rakachu moving on to this F point, trying to take it out.
Yeah, it really depends on whether or not Team Rakachu is able to get any extra power here to give to their shield. They kind of have to go for a desperation fight here over on F just to make sure that they keep their first wound semi-alive, and they are able to get 60 shield off of that. A few kills on the Zenobia, Sven, and the Charnock, and there's only going to be 2 left alive here on Team Feculator, even though they got the push. I'm going to have to imagine this is going to be really difficult for them to go for the wound.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Team Calculator made a mistake by upgrading the creature while the orb was about to go there, so they kind of gave some more shield over than they actually could have. So Team Rapture got an extra orb for their shield, so that they may hold on to this first wound still.
Yeah, the desperation rush onto the F point definitely worked out for them. Yeah, we're seeing over and over just Team Feculator's team comp struggling to finish off kills here. The ranged are able to drop people relatively low. We've seen Bowden dropping low several times, but every time the trip goes in, they're just ready for her, and that's really the only thing that's able to finish off kills. But meanwhile, we've got just a huge brawl going on of 3 versus 3 at the end, 2 versus 3. Zenobia's got her 3 focus, but she's not going to look to use it in this fight, I don't think. It's just going to look to be a 3-for-3 exchange where the Zenobias and the Assassins make it out alive.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So we see the Mountain Cyclops on D still summoning. So Team Rakichu obviously wanting to stop that from happening, so they keep pushing onto this. But now Team Calculator actually moving in and trying to stop Rakichu from taking this.
I'd have to think that this is one of the areas where Team Feculator is going to strive with the AoEs, but the Margrave is just getting in there with the stun. He's getting onto both of the backline and really just negating the pressure of the HK Charnok beyond their initial ability burst. They're going to be able to finish off Charnok off of that and push onto the HK, who's not going to be able to defend himself on this creature here. Even though Zenobia gets taken out in the back, or Margrave gets taken out in the back, you see... Oh, never mind. Team Rakichu. Wow! These kills are just going down over and over. It's 90-90 power right now.
Yeah, do you have to mention that Team Feculator is the one with the arrow who got to 90 power first, so they will win the power tie right now.
Yep, very true.
Remains 90-90, so Team Rakichu actually has to move aggressively here to stop the E-Orb from actually picking up.
And it looks like Team Feculator, or Team Rakichu, is already on the ball here, very aware of what they need to do as the Zenobia and Voden kind of getting into place, but a great defensive Sven ult, even though it's not going to be able to stop him from aggroing the creature away from the point, which is eventually what's going to do it for Team Rakichu. Good job of aggroing that creature off the point. I got to criticize Team Feculator here. They didn't have anyone go try to do the same to the enemy orb, but they had a great Sven focus there from Almighty to really cut all the damage beyond the initial pulling it away from the point, but it just didn't matter. And
now Team Feculator actually did a ton of damage with those AoEs, so they might actually be able to defend this wound as they took a lot of people low.
A lot of damage to Team Rakichu here. You see Voden just kind of kiting back and forth with the HK on the outside. Although, I think... Wow!
That railgun.
Nice, yeah, nice railgun from Mythic to finish off the Voden. It looks like they are going to be too low a health to finish off that wound. Scrambling to get away now is the Beckett. Very low and still burning on the back end. I'd have to imagine that Team Feculator wants to force something off of this. Even though they only have 2 seconds, they're going to be able to do something with the low health bars of Leadface and Shizakura.
They will probably be able to get this creature down, but Team Rakichu is already on the chase as the response come down. Killboy's still kind of alone, getting called out using his escape.
Desperate to kill that creature, using his escape, but he's not able to get it. That's a heartbreaker, even though they left it really low.
Yeah.
They definitely should have been able to finish that off the death timers of Team Rakichu.
Yeah, I think they didn't react fast enough, or didn't see this play happening fast enough to actually make that happen, because they were kind of dawdling around a little bit, not really deciding on what to do. And then when they eventually decided to go for this 8-point where the orb was spawning, it was too late. So Larson now moving in to kill the creature.
Larson gets a good kill on the creature, sacrifices himself, but, you know, positive trade, 20 for 10. Big Xeno focus coming out of Smee on the enemy team. Gonna lock down 2 of the range from Team Rakichu.
Actually, they got the upgrade off before Larson killed the creature, so the upgrade now really low already.
The upgrade is now half health here.
So gotta be careful as the HK focus takes some more HP off of the Cerberus, and Killboy is still raining some fire on it. Although a lot of kills going down for Team Rakichu now with a 90-50 lead, they will get the push.
Out of the Zerb from Team Feculator is actually looking pretty good. I think they had some people get low on the initial push, even though the Trip and and I think the Charnock were able to come in there at the end and finish the creature. The other three just got way too low and got chased out.
And actually, Team Faculator getting wiped just before the final wound. So I think it's pretty safe to say that this is the end of the game right now, as Team RAKY moves in for the final damage on the wounds and takes the game. So I'll end the contest so Baboimo gets his money. There we go. And that was a great game, honestly. That was pretty fun. A lot of brawls going down, and a lot of hectic shit. So, do you have any comments after that game, Ed?
I think pretty much what we ended up seeing there is kind of what we detailed at the beginning of the game while looking at the comps. You know, Team RAKY's comp, very standard comp. You know, you got the Margrave engage. You have his just kind of overall tankiness. You've got you know, the assassin. You've got the support. You've got the double range. It's very standard.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had the opposing comp from Team Faculator, which, you know, it really struggled to find ways to continue fighting. They had the double support, but the two range just weren't able to get quite enough damage down for Larson to be able to go in and really easily clean up without being able to be turned on so quickly. We saw Larson going in looking for the low health targets, and what was, in my opinion, you know, good targets to attempt to pick, but Team RAKY just really on top of it with the peel and on the counter engages. Whoever was playing Margrave that game was just eyes on Trip the whole time. Well played.
Shizugura was on that, and not letting his team die. Great engages from him. We saw some great Margrave ultimates as well, hitting multiple people. So really impressive Margrave play there. That really helped his